What's going on? The people say they won't swing. The people say they won't swing. Over there, I say we won't swing every show. Yo, what's going on, people? It's your boy Lionel, class of 2009, back with another episode of PV versus everybody. And the people said they won't swing, so you got to give the people what they want. You know what I'm saying? It definitely is a classic. They definitely need to add it back. You know what I'm saying? They definitely need to add it back to the book. You feel me? So if anybody can get Zach on the line, let him know this what we want. This what we want every show. You know what I'm saying? This what we want every single show.
Good answer your question.
As President Grant say, did I answer your question?
Good answer.
Yeah. So anyway, man, we got a big night tonight. Talking about what's going on. Oh man, you know what? I'm gonna have to pull that one up. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to pull that one up. I ain't heard that one, you know what I'm saying, in a minute. So I'm gonna have to pull that up. You know what I mean? Maybe have to start use that. You feel me? Elvin came on straight shooting shots like, nah, where's Swain? Where's Swain? We don't play that. You know what I'm saying? We don't play that. So what is going on, everybody? It's another Wednesday. Time for the live show. If you didn't know, man, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. It's spring season, and so it's time to get it on. You feel me? It's time to get it on. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. Not gonna stay on super long, but a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. You know what I'm saying? So again, if you guys are interested in jumping on the show, I have linked the StreamYard link up top. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to come jump on the show, join, share your thoughts, you can definitely do that. It should be pinned up there throughout the show. So at any time you're ready, you don't got to come on with your video if you don't want to, right? You know what I'm saying? It could be audio, you feel me? But definitely want to have an opportunity for you guys can jump on the show and share your thoughts with us today. So let's get into it because we got a couple different sports we want to talk about and highlight tonight as we talk about the great and illustrious Prairie View A&M University. But we're going to start off first and foremost with letting y'all know, again, we talked about it before, coming up February 7th, next month, we're having the National Signing Day event. The tickets are being sold for $30. It's going to be at the Southside Sporting Club, right? In Stafford, Texas. You see the address right there, right on West Airport. Make sure you get your tickets, all right? Get your tickets, show up. Let's pack this thing out. Let's show the coaches, let's show the players, let's show the community that, man, PV, like, when PV comes, like, they come, all right? When it's about PV sports, like, they're in the place, all right? So make sure you're getting your tickets. February 7th is 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks from now, be there. I'm going to be there. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be there. Hopefully, man, be able to get some interviews on the spot with some of you guys, you know what I'm saying? So we can talk, get y'all on the show. But listen, make sure you're there in the place to be. I don't know exactly what they got planned for that day yet. But like I say, I'm hoping we're going to get some kind of schedule drop. I'm hoping, you know what I mean? We're going to get some type of swag and some merch, you feel me? And I'm definitely hoping we're going to get some interviews with coaches, AD Golf, you know what I'm saying? Maybe Mr. Yant, something like that, you feel me? Maybe meet some players. I don't know exactly what's going on. Definitely need the season tickets to drop because if you don't know yet, listen, Section 107, all right? Section 107, you feel me? That's where we're getting the tickets at. Now, I heard some noise earlier today. People talking about 106, people talking about 105. Listen, it's all fine and dandy. All right. We might have to settle it on the field, like they say, and see what section is the best section. But I'm letting y'all know up front right now, Section 107 is where you need to get your tickets in. All right. We're already letting you know early, like I say. So when they drop, it's only about 200 plus, a little bit over 200 tickets for Section 107. If you don't get it, I'm sorry. You're going to have to slide over to 108 to 109 to 106 or 105, somewhere over there. But you ain't going to be able to be in 107 on the 50. You feel me? So we're trying to let y'all know early, trying to let y'all know what to do. And listen, the SWAC conference schedule has already dropped. We already know we got Texas Southern at home. We got Alcorn at home this year. We got Southern at home this year, 21st of September, the 21st day of September. We got FAMU at home this year, right? And of course, we're still waiting on the rest of the out of conference games that got dropped. We got 3 more out of conference games going to drop when the schedule drops. But listen, those are 4 big games, period, already without even another home game dropping, right? So you talk about season tickets, you're getting your money's worth this year. So, like I said, set your ducats aside because when they drop, they're going to drop quick and people going to make a rush for 107 because that's the best section to be in, all right? So I'm trying to let y'all know early, you feel me, of where to be, right there where the red box is, right in the middle, right on the 50, all right? So let's get in, trying to let y'all know what's going on. Mr. Roderick, you feel me? Good evening to you as well. What's up, High Tech? You know what I'm saying? Thank you for dropping the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? The other day for the young brother, you feel me? We're going to be flexing in 107D. That's what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? It's about to get real this year in section 107. So let's get into it, man. First and foremost, coming up. And listen, one thing that we're going to have to do very soon, man, I got to get Coach Glenn White on the show because he not only is he a trailblazer at Prairie View and is killing it with the women's bowling team, but he is a trailblazer in the sport of bowling, period, right? Period, point blank. And so we definitely got to get Coach Glenn on the show soon so we can just talk and have a conversation with him about some of the real, creative and dynamic things he's been doing, not even just at Prairie View, but just for the sport of bowling, period, right? But obviously, you talk about 6-time SWAC champs in bowling, right? And so, listen, SWAC West roundup just finished day one with a smooth sweep, 4-0 on day one. Obviously, taking care of Florida A&M. This match number 2 obviously was the biggest biggest game, right? Points wise for the Lady Panthers with 910 points to 867 against Jackson State. Took care of Texas Southern and took care of Grambling State, right? So went 4-0 on day one. Day 2, right? 1-2 on day 2. So finished 5-2 and ended up finished tied for this tournament, right? So didn't get the outright win, but 5 wins out of 7. You know what I'm saying? Great weekend for the Lady Panthers as they getting rolling, right? Getting into their spring season. Dropped the game here to Alabama A&M. Came back and beat Southern 833 to 808, and then dropped the game against Alabama State, right? Only by 9 points, right? 9 pins. So super, super close game though, right? But, we got to shout out Miss Jada Gordon for being named the SWAC Bowler of the Week. Last year, she was actually the Freshman of the Year, SWAC Freshman of the Year. And so she's looking to do some big things this year. I saw what she said, man. Her highest game last year was a 296 out of 300. So you already know she's killing it, right? So she's definitely coming in and continue to kill it. You know what I'm saying? So super excited about what Coach Glenn has going on with the Lady Panthers, bowling team. We're able to host this past year for a regional. So, we're just doing some really, really big things. And so definitely want to continue to support them. Definitely got to get him on the show soon, man. So shout out to Coach Glenn and the ladies over there on the bowling team for continuing to just knock it down. You feel me? Knock it down. You know what I'm saying? No pun intended. But let's keep it moving, man. Talk about this HBCU Indoor Classic, right? That was in Louisville, Kentucky. It's actually put on by Kentucky State University. So a lot of top SWAC schools was in the building this past weekend for this meet. And of course, your Prairie View men's and women's teams were there as well. And man, listen, we had a lot of individuals come back with some individual rewards, right? Some people medaled, right, on this day. So across the board, we'll start off with the men's team. Arian Knight, obviously, 60-meter hurdles, finished in first with his in that meet as well, in that finals. You also had Christian Derrick in the 400 meters, who finished first. Clayton Terry took third in that event. Mr. Managram Anthony came in second in the 60-meter hurdles in this indoor track meet, right? And so you can see the men definitely went in and did their thing. Of course, the 4x4 relay, McFadden, Terry Morgan, and Derek finished first. And in that same relay final, you had another Prairie View team, the second team, right, finished third, right? So, of course, you can tell, man, these guys are getting geared up as they're taking on indoor season right now. I can't wait for outdoor season. Right, that's really my favorite season when it comes to track. Right. Of course, in the high jump, Camden Parsi finished first in the high jump. We also had Mr. Abula finish second in the high jump as well. So took first and second place in both of those events. First and third in the long jump with Mr. Jaden Harris and Rashawn Fredy. So shout out to them, as well as Caden Berry, who took first in shot put. And also you see Mr. Jaden Harris, not just first in the long jump, but also coming first in the triple jump, with Mr. Rashawn taking second in that event after he took third in the long jump. So if you can see, man, across the board, man, this, you talk about this men's squad, like we have a team that is ready to go out and compete. When you talk about with the Alabama States of the world, right, who also have a great track program. And listen, when you talk about this Commissioner's Cup that we're going after again this year, this is really his 3-team race majority of the time, right? Jackson, Alabama State, PV. And so track and field obviously is so huge, right? Because you really talk about 4 championships, 4 different sports that you can really bring in points in. You talk about indoor and outdoor track for both men's and women's teams. So super important, right? As we getting really geared up, and really they starting to get now into the heat of the indoor season, right? Of course, Mr. Darius Jackson Rubio finished first in the weight throw, as well as Mr. Noah Glenn, Mr. Javier Gallegos, and Thierry Garcon finishing first, second, and third in the 3,000-meter run as well. So, I mean, clean sweep in the 3,000 meters for the Panthers at this HBCU indoor track meet. But the women's team, man, look at this. I mean, literally just up and down. I mean, went in and flexed all of their muscles. You know what I'm saying? All of their muscles. And honestly, as soon as I saw this, I was surprised, because they also went to the HBCU showcase. And I believe there you had Ash J. Harris and Sydney Stewart finished first and second in the 60 meters. So I was kind of shocked when I didn't see Miss Harris, in first place here. So that was super interesting. I don't know if she didn't run the 60 meters at this event, but anyway, you see Miss Darnisha Likes and Miss Sydney Stewart taking second and third place in the 60-meter dash. You also had Sanaya Kitchen first place in the 60-meter hurdles. You got Darnisha Likes, right, taking second place in the 200 meters. Miss Ashjai Harris, Miss Jazeer Miller first and second in the 400 meters. And also you see Miss Zara Richardson, two medals for her, right? First place in the 600 meters, and then first place in the mile as well for her, with Miss Miracle Price coming in second in that 600 meters as well. Now, the relays, you can see, just like the men in the 4x4, they took first and third place. You see the women's team right here in the 4x2 meter relay take first and third place here, as well as them also taking first place in the 4x4 meter relay run as well. And this again is against other HBCUs, not just SWAC schools. You're talking about MEAC schools. You're talking about SEIA AC schools. You're talking about CIAA schools, right? So you're talking about schools all over that were competing at this HBCU Indoor Classic, right? And to see, the men and the ladies to show up like this, I mean, literally killing it all across the board, super, super big on their part, right? Miss Maya Clark also finished in second in that mile after Zara Richardson. And you also got third place, Christina Fitzpatrick. So again, just like the men took that clean sweep in the 3,000-meter run, you see the women take a clean sweep in the mile run, right? So that's going to bode well when you talk about getting ready to get into, again, I mean, getting geared up for some of these other, I believe they're going to New Mexico next for their next meet, right? But as they continue to really get geared up, right, and get into the heart of the season and get to the SWAC championships and looking to get to the NCAA indoor championships as well. Miss Christina Patrick and Maya Clark finishing first and second in the 3,000 meters. Also, high jump, second and third place, Miss Savor Anderson and also Morgan Davila, right? Finishing third. Sanaya Kitchen again showing up with the long jump, first place. See second place there with Savor Anderson as well. And then also Savor Anderson also taking first in the triple jump and also a clean sweep there, as we also took second and third place with Miss Taya Coleman and Morgan Davila also taking second and third there, right? So, I mean, all throughout this meet in every place, the women touched everything, right? They just like, listen, mine, right? So they put their paw prints on everything in this indoor track meet, right? I'm super excited. You can actually check out some of the clips online if you want to go and see some of the final events that was run with men and women. You can check some of that stuff out online through Google, through YouTube as well. So make sure you check that out, man. Show support. Listen, PV Relays is also going to be coming up. Make sure you get out there. We already talked about it before. I didn't create a graphic, but we talked about it before last week on we got together on Wednesday at the State of the Nation. Talked about, hey, listen, we're going to challenge everybody in PV Nation to get to at least one basketball game, one basketball doubleheader outside of the TSU game, right? So you can choose any game on the schedule and say, hey, this is the game, me and my people, my partners, we're going to get together. We're going to go to this specific home game, right? Alabama State's this weekend, got Alabama A&M on Monday. We got more games coming up. So, but you say, hey, one of these home games I'm going to get to outside of the TSU game. And we said one of the Olympic sports, right? What do you talk about? Baseball. We talk about softball. We talk about a track meet. Whatever it is, right? You know what I'm saying? You're saying, hey, I'm going to get out and I'm going to attend one of these sporting events in basketball, and also I'm going to attend one of the Olympic sporting events as well, right? So that was our challenge to PV Nation. So I hope you already looked at the schedule and determined which game you're going to get to, right? But let's keep it going, right? Before we get into our next section, right, and talk about the basketball teams and what they've kind of been dealing with and facing the beginning of this SWAC conference play. I want to remind y'all, hey, listen, we are on Twitter, PV versus everybody, PV _ versus _ everybody. Make sure you locked in with us there. If you aren't subscribed too, by the way, like make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe. Listen, every time you like the video, it pushes it out to others in Panther Nation who are interested, who are looking for us, but just don't know where to find us. So make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed. You know what I'm saying? Our goal is to get to 500 subscribers. We got something special when the 500 subscribers drop, right? We got something special for everybody, you know what I'm saying, that we're putting together. So make sure you subscribe, right? Get it out to Panther Nation by giving that thumbs up, man. You know what I'm saying? That's the least you can do, right? You know what I'm saying? And again, for those who are interested, if you are here watching on YouTube, I don't know if you're watching on X or watching on YouTube, if you're looking to jump on, you know what I'm saying, tonight, I did put the link for the StreamYard for the back studio up. If you look at the pinned comment up there. So if you want to come on, right, and share your thoughts, go ahead and lock in with us, right? You can go ahead and pull it up and lock in with us. So let's keep it going, man. Talk about this week 6 review. Just looking at the overall records first and foremost in the SWAC. I mean, listen, when it comes to SWAC conference play, it started to get real. You know, some of these teams that people was looking at flying through, even making noise in non-conference, man, when you get into conference play, sometimes some stuff shock you, right? And I think one team from a women's standpoint that people looked at like, man, they didn't drop a couple contests is Arkansas Pine Bluff, right? You know what I'm saying? You see them sitting there at fifth place at 3-2, 8-10 overall. Obviously, it's still a great team. I mean, great team, right? It may have been a blessing for us to be able to move that game that was going to be played earlier this year against Arkansas Pine Bluff back. Have some time for our girls, especially to get more in rhythm, get some momentum right before they have that game at home. So I'm not mad at that, right? Let that freeze move that game. But, you know, listen, the SWAC conference play gets real. So right now, obviously, Jackson sitting in first place at smooth 5-0. Man, they really took care of business with us the other day. We're going to talk about that in a second. Got Grambling sitting in second place at 4-1. And then you got, the next four teams all sitting at 3-2. Bethune, Alabama A&M, Pine Bluff, and Southern, right? Next after that, you see us sitting right there, 6-9, 2-3, right there in seventh place. We definitely want to be able to move into that, at least that top 40. We talk about getting ready for conference play in basketball. Obviously, the first 8 teams is going to get into the tournament. So we really definitely want to, be in the top 8, but most importantly, really want to be in that top 4 when you talk about seeding. So we got a little work to do really on both ends, on the men's and women's side. We got a little work to do. But I think we still got some time to make some move. Obviously, Alcorn, we just was able to knock them off the other day to get to 2-3. So they're right below us at 2-3. You got Florida A&M, then Texas Southern, Alabama State, and then ending it off with Mississippi Valley. So that's how the women's rankings are looking right now. Obviously, Jackson and Grambling right now are in first place, first and second place. They definitely look like the teams to beat in the conference right now. But I'll even say, man, Bethune, even Arkansas Bluff and Southern, these are teams that I feel like have the ability. I mean, from what they've shown, from what we've seen, they all have the ability to win this conference. We talk about favorites. I still would have to say Jackson and Arkansas Pine Bluff are still my favorites in the conference based on what I've seen all year. But you definitely can't put Grambling out of it either right now. Now, Alabama A&M is definitely the team that so far I'm like, okay, they've kind of shocked me a little bit, but we'll see them up close and personal on Monday, right? And so we'll have a good chance to look at that team and really see what they're all about. Now, on the men's side, we talk about right now, we got 3 teams tied at 4-1. Alabama State, Jackson State, and Grambling all tied right now at 4-1. You got 3 teams at 3-2. Southern, Bethune, and Arkansas Pine Bluff. Then you got Texas Southern at 3-3. We're right behind them at 2-3. Obviously, again, we missed that Arkansas Pine Bluff game. And then you got A&M, Alabama A&M, Alcorn State, Florida A&M, and Mississippi Valley, right? Close you out right there. Again, just like we talked about before with the women, the first 8 seeds are who's going into the tournament. So when you talk about seeding, right now, we need to make some moves. And then we talk about really putting yourself in a better position. You really need to push yourself up to really in the top 4, right? Just like Boom is saying here, we get the Alabama schools this Saturday and this Monday coming up. And, yeah, we really need to start making some moves. We're 5 games into the conference season. I believe we play a total of 18 conference games. Is that correct? Somebody can check me on that, right? But I believe we play a total of 18 conference games, right? 16 conference games, I believe, right? So listen, we got to start making some moves. Make some moves right now. So when we talk about, again, we got Alabama State coming in, who's sitting in first place, and we got Alabama A&M coming in, which is sitting right below us at 2-3. So, yes, okay, so we do. So it is 18 conference games, right? So 18 conference games, right? We're 5 games in. You're talking about only 13 games left in the season. We got to start making moves right now. We can't wait, right? Now, the good thing is, at the end of the day, we're still going to see a lot of these teams again. You talk about Grambling on the men's side. That was a really good game. I mean, just like the game against Alcorn, we really started slow in that game. In the game against Grambling, just like this game against Alcorn that we just had. And we really we got into it a little bit too late, I feel like. But, that was a winnable game, right? You know what I'm saying? So that wasn't anything major. And I believe I'm really looking across the board on the men's side. I feel like the men are right in that pack, right? I don't see really any team on the men's side that I would look and say, man, this team has separated themselves. This team is, head and heels above the rest, that I would trust. Now, TJ Matlock from Alabama State is a great player, right? You know what I'm saying? But I just don't see any team on the men's side that I would say, like, hey, this is that team to beat. I think on the women's side, there's definitely tiers, right? I think you got tier 1. Like I say, even though Arkansas Pine Bluff has lost 2 games, I'm still looking at Jackson and Pine Bluff on tier 1. You got Grambling, Bethune, Southern on tier 2. And then I think you got that tier 3 under there, starting with Alabama A&M, right? You know what I mean, and going down. That's my thought process, right, when it comes on the women's side. On the men's side, I feel like, man, it's just you're talking about just top 8, 10 teams just bunched in there, to be honest, right? I mean, I think you come into this tournament thinking the 8 or the 7 seed still has the same opportunity as the 1st or 2nd seed, to be honest. That's my thought process, right? The issue with us is the same as it's been all year, right? And we'll talk about that when we get into it. Say Alcorn men shot a high percentage for their game. Yeah, definitely. And we're going to talk about it. We'll talk about the men coming up here. So we talked about the women's record 6-9, 2-3. We talked about that already, right? Looking at the past 5 games that we've had, obviously, with the women, we've seen multiple games where we were just completely. It looked like we shouldn't even been on the court with the team, which is, it's very interesting seeing some of these lopsided victories, lopsided scores, and unfortunately, because of SWAC basketball this year, I mean, a lot of these games aren't available. They're behind paywalls, so it kind of sucks because we're not able to see every single game, and watch every single game unless you're there in person. That's the thing that sucks about it. But, looking at that Grambling game, I mean, 28-point loss in the Grambling game, 28-point loss in the Southern game. I mean, those are huge losses to in-conference teams. You shouldn't be losing in conference by 28 points. That's a very large and wide margin, right? Obviously, we got the win against Mississippi Valley, beat them by 14 points. Then we look at Jackson, right? Another huge win, right? You know what I'm saying? This win here, more than 30, right? You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, 37 points. These are very lopsided victories. And so that's why I say, I mean, when I look on the women's side, I definitely think there's tiers. And Jackson specifically, right, has won, I believe, all 5 of their conference games by 20-plus points, I believe, right? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So you're talking about a team that really has separated themselves from the pack. Obviously, we're able to come back in that Alcorn game, got down early, didn't come out the gate well, and end up coming back and winning the game 61-55. Big win for us because, again, it puts us in a position where we still land in that top 8 and we still have an opportunity to make moves. And I think we're going to have a chance with some of these games coming up. But really, we need to really see a change in the culture of this team moving forward if we really think we're going to have a legit chance when it comes to winning the SWAC tournament, right? We need to get to the SWAC tournament, but we also need to see some stuff start to mold and gel together with this team if we're going to really have a chance of winning the SWAC, right? So let's get into some individual games, right? Of course, the Grambling game, Ryan Payne led us with 21 points and 4 assists. She was the only player in double figures. We also had Desiree Lewis with 9 points and 8 rebounds. Grambling, 21-4 from Kaya Wormsley, had 10 points, 3 rebounds from Zaya Tenner, and also Jasmine Jackson with 10 points, right? We were outscored 29-10 in points off of turnovers, right? So talking about turning the ball over and Grambling taking advantage of that all night. I mean, 19 points differential in points off turnovers is huge, right? I mean, think about if you're even everywhere else, but you give the ball away and Grambling scores 19 more points off of turnovers than you. I mean, that's a 20-point victory right there, right? Obviously losing by 28. The other thing, we only shot 16.7% from 3, 1 of 6. And all year, this has been an issue. I mean, really with both teams, one of the main issues has been we don't have consistent outside shooting, right? We don't have consistent outside shooting. The women's team goes on a lot of lulls, when time goes by and they can't get a bucket, right? They can't dump it in and get a bucket, right? They can't get anything going from outside. And because they're having a hard time knocking down jumpers from outside, that allows teams to pack the paint. So we talk about Geraldine Smith or Desiree Lewis or Amari Williams, Adriana Waddle trying to really get to it in the post. Look, they're really able to pack it in at the end of the day because we don't really believe that you can beat us from outside. And so one thing this team we're going to have to see different from this team moving forward is we're going to have to see them hitting outside shots. If this women's team doesn't start to knock down outside shots, we're going to continue to stay in the middle of this pack here. And we started the preseason ranked 6th. I think that's where we're falling right now. We're 7th right now. We're not going to really be able to rise above anything that we have going on if we can't score consistently. If we can't score consistently and be able to shoot better from the outside. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, listen, if you still had Diana here and you match that with Payne, I mean, that's a huge difference. But right now, I mean, really and even Payne, she plays well, she gets to the bucket, but there's really nobody right now who's shooting well from outside. Jessica Saunders had a good game a couple games back. But really, Coach Pugh has to find somebody, right, that can shoot consistently from outside. Now, I'll also say, I'm not a fan of Coach Pugh's style of substitution. I to be honest, I hate it. I hate it because I feel like you can't really get a rhythm. I mean, if I'm playing, and I'm just breaking a sweat and I'm getting subbed out 4 or 5 minutes to the game and all 5 of the players are coming out, I'm really not a fan of that substitution style. I'm hoping that she switches it up coming toward the end of the year because I definitely feel like we need to do something different there. You know what I mean? But right now, I mean, you can tell that the team just is not in any type of rhythm. You know what I'm saying? With the Southern game, another blowout, right? This game, though, you had 3 peoples. Listen, I really do. I don't like the substitution. I don't like the mass substitution style. I really don't like it. I don't think it allows the girls to stay in rhythm. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a part of the problem. I mean, I think, even if you'd have got blown out in some early games, but you allowed, you allowed different lineups to play together, you could really figure out what lineups to put together. You know what I'm saying? A little bit easier than just doing mass substitution. So I'm not a fan of that, to be honest. Southern 28-point victory here. Goneva Johnson 18 points, 5 rebounds. Serviva Legions 10 points, 8 rebounds. And Kayla had 7 points, 6 assists, 4 steals. She was everywhere. Of course, Ryan Payne led us again, 14 points, 3 steals, 3 rebounds. Jada Robinson siding here with 12 points, 6 rebounds, and also Amari Williams with 11 points, right? So again, and Amari Williams is one person transfer from Vanderbilt who when coming into the season, you look, 6'3", 6'4", saying, hey, this is a big body inside, somebody we can dump the ball into, who can help get a bucket, especially when, hey, you're going on a drought. You had 3, 4 possessions where you haven't been able to score. You can dump the ball inside and get a bucket or get a foul, get to the line, slow the game down. But again, when you're not able to shoot the ball well from the outside, we can just pack the paint in and it makes it difficult, right? So if you look, again, shot 7% from 3. 7% from 3. Listen, the problem is going to be the same. The problem does not change. The problem been the same since the beginning of the season with both of the teams, men and women. Same thing I've been saying all along. It's the same thing that's going on right now, right? 7% from 3. Not going to win a lot of games shooting 7% from 3, right? 35.4% from the field. So you shoot 7% from 3, shoot 35% from the field, you lost that game. You lost that game, right? It's not great percentages. Points in the paint outscored 44-26 by Southern, right? So again, that's an 18-point differential. So again, right, you can understand how this game was lost, right, and how it was a wide margin, right? So now let's go to the Mississippi Valley game, right? Here you see an 83-69 victory from the Lady Panthers. We out-rebound Mississippi Valley by 20 rebounds, 47-27, right? So great rebounding advantage here. Free throws, we shot 80% from the free throw line, 16 of 20. One of the best free throw percentages I've seen the Lady Panthers shoot, all season, right? 80%. So 16 for 20 here. And then 31% from 3, 5 of 6, 16, right? 31%, right? From 3, starting getting those 30s. We can get into those mid-30s, looking a lot better there, right? And so, again, you see the result, 83 points on the board. What do you see them score the last 2 games? In the 50s, right? And, again, so if you can hit some of these open jumpers, it's going to also open up some of the game on the inside because people are not going to be able just to sag in. So, Jessica Sauter, 16 points. I believe this was that game that she had a great shooting game, right? 16 points. Adriana Waddle, 14 points, 7 rebounds. Ryan Payne, 12 points, 3 assists, 3 steals. Jalen Smith, 8 points and 10 rebounds, right? She always does great on the boards as well. So when you talk about this is where you want, you don't want to see Ryan Payne with 20 points and then your next score having 8 points. Listen, you lost that game, all right? You lost that game. If Ryan is the only one who's able to put the ball in the bucket, you probably lost that game. You need multiple players being able to score. This is the mix that you want to see. 16, 14, 12, 8. That's a good mixture, right? That's a winning formula. So we need to see more of that, right? But it starts with being able to get the ball off the glass and being able to put the ball in the bucket from the outside so you can loosen the defense up. Now, going to the Jackson game, what do we see? Listen, what do we just talk about? What we just talk about? What we say? We say you don't want to see Ryan Payne with 20 points and your next score with 8 points. Well, we don't have that, but Ryan scored 19 points, so she took one from herself and she gave it to Jessica. All right, she had 9 points. You don't want to see that. That's not you probably lost that game, right? Scoring 50 points again. We're in the 50s. Desiree Lewis had 9 points as well, right? But again, you lost the game and it's a blowout, right? Jackson State had 5 players in double figures in this game. We were out rebounded 48-22. You saw we out rebounded Mississippi Valley by 20. Now we out rebounded by 26. Also, Jackson State shot 15 more field goals. I believe we had 6 more turnovers this game as well, right? As well as shooting, I believe under 10%. I mean under 15% from 3, right? So again, you know what the winning formula is, right? It's the same. You could probably look at it. Just look at the stat sheet and understand whether we won this game or not, right? Let's look here. What do we see? Wow. 16 from Ryan Payne, 6 rebounds, 12 from Amari Williams, 10 points from Adriana Waddles with 9 rebounds again as well, right? That's a great mixture. Scored 61 points, right? They cracked the 60 number. You're in a winning column, right? Again, close game though, right? Throughout 16 for Lizzie Walker, 12 for Leah Turner, and 11 for Jalea Reed here. Leah Turner was everywhere, 5 rebounds, 4 assists as well. But points in the paint, outscored Alcorn 34-12, out-rebounded Alcorn 38-27, and we had 15 steals, right? So again, you kind of look at that those 5 games in conference play and see, okay, you can see the winning formula, right? You need to get multiple players in double figures. You don't want to have to lean on Ryan Payne to do the vast majority of your scoring, right? Because if you have to lean on her, she really needs to be in the 30-plus range if you're only leaning on her for you to win this game, right? So you really want her in that 14 to 18 point range, somebody else in that 12, somebody else in that 10, somebody in that 9 and 8 range, right? That's a good mixture and good formula, right? And you also need to hold teams to under 60 points, right, to have a chance. If teams are going over 60, this team is not a team that's going to outscore teams. That's not what they're going to do. That's not how they're built, right? So they also have to play good defense. They have to rebound the ball, right? Can't give up second chance points, and they got to get on the glass and have to keep teams under 60. That's how we're gonna win games, right? We got 13 more games to solidify a spot for conference play. That's how they're gonna win games. And so we got to remember that, right? So let's keep it moving. Talk about the men's team here: 7-11, 2-3 in conference as well, sitting in 7th place, right? Women sitting in 6th, men sitting in 7th. Preseason they were 6th place. Now again, I think the men are in a different situation, even though they're 2-3, because the men I don't believe there's a huge gap, right? I don't believe there's such a big gap in the men's side as there in the women's side, right? The game is against Grambling, still is a close game, right? We looked at this. The Southern game is really the one game. The Southern Alcorn game both got away from them. Alcorn shot tremendously. I mean, they were shooting 70+% into the second half, right? So when you talk about that game, I mean, the game just got away from them. But all these teams, when you talk about them on the men's side of the ball, I feel like they're all kind of in that one big pot. And so I think, this men's team still has a chance. Grambling, 69-63 win over us. Again, that Southern game definitely got away from us, 79-58. I mean, you see, again, right, Southern going over 70. It's not a good look, right? We love to keep teams under 70. If we keep teams under 70, it's going to go well for us. 71-60 win over Mississippi Valley. Jackson State, that's the wrong score. Jackson State, we won that game. I believe it's 71-62 was that game. I think I had the women's score twice. So 71-62 against Jackson State. Let me see. Yeah, 71-62 against Jackson State, and then 61. No, see, that's the wrong score too. Anyway, so let's get it back to the Grambling game and talk about this 69-63 win for Graham, right? 6-point win, right? Grambling outscored us 23-11 bench points, right? As you see, right, you got Charles Smith for 24, had a great game, 24 points. Javante Hopkins, 15 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Grambling had 4 players in double figures, though. But if you look at the game, right, 10 lead changes, three ties throughout the game. So this was a good game. It was a close game. This was definitely a winnable game that we lost at Grambling. So, this is a game that they were in the game all the way, which I expect the majority of these games, this men's team is going to be in the game and have a chance to win. Jalen Johnson gave us 20 and 8. Jordan Smith 13 and 5, and then Mr. Stevenson had 11 points with 6 assists. Now, the thing I would say, I agree with Isaiah here, is our shooting has to be more consistent. And like I said, the same themes we see it for the women's side, you see it for the men's side, right? I've said it all season as well. We need to be more consistent. Now, the thing that the men do better that the women don't do as good is they play great defense and they get a lot of turnovers, get their hands on a lot of turnovers, right? And so they're also able to stay in the game by locking teams down. Teams don't typically go on these tremendous runs on them, not because they're scoring with them, but because even when they go through their scoring droughts, they're able to keep the other team from scoring the ball too as well, right? So, that's some of the things I think, that we got to be, right? We got to get consistent. Nicholas Gonzalez had a great game this past game, right? We definitely shot well against Alcorn. I believe we shot 50%, 40% from 3 this past game, right? So again, we did a way better job this past game, even though it wasn't a loss. You talk about from a scoring standpoint, we just let the game get away from us in the first half. We never rallied back, right? We were basically even in the second half. First half got away from us, and we never really able to get back into that game, right? We talk about this Graham game. That was definitely a winnable game. Now, Southern, Brian Miles, 18 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks. Charles Lane with 18 and 3 rebounds, and then Charles Smith 10 points and 3 rebounds. We shot 7%. See what I'm saying right here? 7% from 3, 1 of 13. Not going to win a lot of games like that. And then if you see right there under there, 6 points off turnovers. That's not our style, right? We need to turn teams over, and we need to score off turnovers. That's a part of our game, right? We like to play fast, right? We like to slash, get to the bucket. So we got to turn teams over, and we got to score off turnovers, and we got to score some fast break points throughout a game. That's how we're able to really, stay in games, extend leads, etc. So the good thing about SWAC play, like I said before we enter in, the referees don't call like you're going to see all these out-of-conference games they were calling, right? I mean, we stayed in foul trouble all throughout. All the SWAC games, we stayed pretty close as far as, free throws from one team to another in foul trouble. So we're going to be able to be in games simply because we're going to be able to play our aggressive style. The question really is, are we going to be able to knock down shots consistently? This game we didn't. You see, we lost, right? Of course, Terrion Joseph, again, he's been killing it all year, 21.6 rebounds. Brandon Davis, 13 and 6. Jalen Reynolds, 13 and 7. And then he also had 10, 8, and 6 from Diomasi, right? So Southern definitely had a squad come together for this game, right? You had 4 players in double figures for them. Talk about this Mississippi Valley game. Charles Smith, Again, big game, 28 points, 3 assists. Nicholas Gonzalez, 16 points, and then Brian Miles with 13 points, 12 rebounds. Another double-double, right? This guy's just eating up double-doubles. He's doing his job. Brian Miles is doing his job, right? He's doing what he needs to do. Of course, Nate with 25 points and 10 rebounds from Mississippi Valley. Mr. Anderson, 17 points and 7 rebounds. And then Bowen with 13 points. Now, we shot 42% from 3 this game, right? So 42% from 3, but now 56% from the free throw line. It's not good. It's not great, right? You know what I'm saying? It's not great. So, we talk about, we talk about, winning this game. We able to get a lot of points on the board, get a lot of points from Charles Smith, and also Brian Miles can go with him. Now, the one thing I will say when we're talking about this men's team is the fact that, listen, we got to find somebody else to come with Brian Miles and Javante Hopkins on the board, right? The last game against Alcorn, I believe we only had 19 rebounds. Only 19 rebounds that game, right? One that shows that Alcorn was getting to the cup, right? They was against, they were backdooring us crazy, right? You know what I'm saying? But we got to find another rebounder outside of Javante Hopkins. Now, his Russell Westbrook impression is amazing, all right? He's Russell for us because he's getting to the glass, right? Super athletic, he's getting to the glass. But listen, we got to find somebody else that's going to rebound the ball outside of Brian Miles and outside of Javante Hopkins. Because if this team gets out-rebounded, very much so just like the women's team, that puts them in trouble, right? And so the game against Alcorn, only 19 rebounds that game. We're going to be in trouble every game if we're not able to, rebound the ball, right? So we got to find another guy to go with them. You know what I'm saying? So Roger says, I agree. Seems like the men are more prepared than the ladies are right now. Yeah, I would agree with that, man. I think, I think that the men's team is more cohesive, right? They're more of a team. Like, they play together. People know their roles, right? It just feels like they aren't doing successfully in some games the things that they're trying to do, right? But they know their roles, they know how they play, they know their style, and so they stick to it. So that's why I say, man, I think that the men's team still has an awesome opportunity to still continue to creep up in the SWAC rankings, get within that top 4, and have a real shot at winning the conference title, right? I don't think the men's team is that far off or far-fetched. And I think you talk about these teams like Alabama State's, like Jackson or Graham, right? Who's 4-1, right? These teams are going to lose other games, right? Because on the men's side, when you talk about 1 through 8, 1 through 10, like, these teams are a lot closer, than on the women's side. The women's side is a big gap. The men's side is not that big gap. So the team that wins the conference, could easily have 4 or 5 losses, right? I think that's definitely possible. I think you can see the team who wins the SWAC, I'm saying, definitely with 3 losses. 4 or 5 losses, I think, is very legit for a team that wins this conference this year, because these teams are very, very close to each other, to one another, right? So we got Alabama State and Alabama A&M coming up this weekend. Alabama State's game, that game is going to be this Saturday. I believe the first game starts at 3, the women's game, and then the 5:30 tip-off for the men's game, right? Alabama A&M is going to be on Monday, 5 and 7:30 tip-off. So listen, we talked about it. I'm going to remind y'all again. We said we put a challenge out to PV Nation that if you have not already said, man, this is the men's basketball game and the women's basketball game, this is the doubleheader I'm going to. We challenged PV Nation last Wednesday to say, choose a game outside of the TSU game that you're going to go and that you're going to attend, all right? Go look at the schedule, go pull the schedule up, look at the games, choose the game that you are going to attend and say, hey, I'm going to this game, right? I'm going to go to this specific game. Matter of fact, if y'all watching this video, if you're watching the live, watching the replay, drop in the comments what men's and women's basketball game you're going to attend before the end of the year, before the end of the season, right? We should still have, a good, because we'll play too. So we probably have a good 7 games left, right? You know what I'm saying? Home games left. So which of these home doubleheaders are you going to attend? And we also said we're going to attend at least one of the Olympic sports, whether that's softball, whether that's baseball, whether that's track and field, whether that's tennis, whatever it is, right? We're going to attend at least one doubleheader in basketball and also attend the game for one of the Olympic sports, right? And listen, we got to keep talking about it, because when I look at the SWAC rankings, you know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I'm gonna just pull this up, because I don't even want y'all to think I'm making it up, right? I don't even want y'all to think I'm making it up. So I'm gonna just pull it up. I'm gonna just pull it up and just show you, so you can know and you can see what's what, right? So if you guys can see this, I want you guys to look right here, right there. And what does that say? Huh? Do y'all see that right there? What does that say right there? This is SWAC attendance. Hold on. Hold on. I went to Florida A&M. Let's go back. Team stats. Team stats. Miscellaneous. What does it say right here? This is attendance. This attendance. Home attendance, 361. We ought to be ashamed. We ought to be ashamed of ourselves, okay? 361. Look at Jackson. 3,100, A&M 2,700, 2,400 at Alabama State, 2,100 at Southern Valley. Now, that ain't nothing to do with Valley. I understand ain't nothing to do with Valley. But 1,900, right? Pine Bluff, 1,500. Graham is starting to get a little low. 1,200 for Grambling, Northwest Louisiana. They could probably do better. Florida A&M definitely can do better, right? Like, all these teams down here can do better. But listen, 361. Come on, y'all. Come on. That's crazy. That's just outrageous. That's just outrageous, right? So choose a doubleheader. All right. Choose a doubleheader and get to it. All right. Roger say he trying to shoot for this weekend. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to shoot for this weekend at Alabama A&M game. Says, yeah, man, definitely. That's what it was. It was dead last. 361. Let me pull up the women's, right? Because this is the men's. Because I know the women is going to be slightly lower, right? So let me pull up the women's, right? Because the men 361, I probably would say the women is at like 150. You know what I'm saying? If the men's at 361, the women is probably significantly lower than that. At least half of that. Okay, not half. It's not half of that. Okay. All right. Okay. It wasn't what I was expecting, right? 233. 233. All right. 233. Now, Grambling, that you ought to be ashamed. 263, and your women is killing it right now. All right. You know what I'm saying? 263 and 1,200 for the men's. Right. But listen, 233 for the women's, 361 for the men. And like Elvin say, yeah, I mean, it means the students aren't attending the games. You're right. You know what I'm saying? So now we've had, Boom says we only had one conference game. We've had 2 conference games so far, right? Oh, you're right. That Pine Bluff game was, wasn't there. But now this is including all of the home attendance for all the games too, right? So this is not just for conference games, by the way, right? So this is all attendance for the whole year so far, right? You know what I'm saying? For all home games, period, right? Including like Wiley, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, just wanted to share it with you guys. Again, we talked about that challenge. So hopefully this Alabama State game is gonna look different this weekend. You feel me? Hopefully, Alabama A&M game is gonna look different. You feel me? So, but anyway, make sure y'all choose a game. Let us know what game you're choosing. Let us know what doubleheader, men's and women's doubleheader, you're choosing to attend. Put it in the comments. You know what I'm saying? If you're watching this video replay, drop it in the comments so we can know, man, so we can get together, so we can build PV Nation like it's supposed to be built. But again, that's all I got, man, for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this live. Again, if you have not done so already, make sure, man, make sure you have subscribed to the channel. Make sure you like and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Share this with others in PV Nation, you know what I'm saying, who are interested in jumping on. What's going on, man? Thank you for jumping on the show. You know what I'm saying? Next time we got Jacktown coming to PV, you know what I'm saying? We got to get you on to come share your thoughts too, man. Zay said he's going to be there courtside. You feel me? You're going to be there courtside. And listen, we talked about it already. I'm going to let y'all know again. Got the National Signing Day event coming up on February 7th. Your boy's going to be in the building. So make sure you're there. Get your tickets. Get your money ready for Section 107. That's where we're going to be. That's where we're going to be. And hopefully we get a video drop because, you know what I'm saying, Jackson then did a drop. I seen Grambling do a drop. Now, Alabama State, but that graphic was nice. The graphic was nice, but the video was like, I wasn't feeling the video. I ain't gonna lie, right? FAMU, I mean, they did like, this is like a video. He just talked about the thing. So I don't really count those. But Jackson and Grambling, they did a video drop. I need a video drop. I need a video drop of the schedule. You know what I'm saying? Need a video drop of the schedule. Got 8 home games left. We need people in the building, right? Because this team still got a shot. These teams still got a shot to get to the SWAC conference play, right? You know what I mean? Yeah, when we get that full drop, we're gonna get a video. I know our boys, you know what I'm saying, on the PV media team gonna do us right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm waiting on that full drop too. But listen, we got some big things coming up, man. You know, we got some big people coming on the show soon. So make sure y'all locked in with us. Listen, I hope y'all got y'all tickets for the National Signing Day event. Make sure you're there. Your boy gonna be in the building. I'm gonna try to see if I can live stream from the National Signing Day event. Can't promise that's gonna be done, but definitely gonna try to get some stuff done there too. Yeah, Jackson dropped their video the other day. Nice video drop for them. You know what I'm saying? I like their video drop. I like Grambling drop too. You know what I'm saying? I've been saying this forever. I've been saying, listen, we need to take that NFL model on these drops, man. Like, we should be dropping schedules. Like, that's dope. That's content, right? That builds the momentum for the season. And that's what you got to start doing. You got to start building the momentum for the season early on, right? You know what I'm saying? So I was super excited when I saw both of those. So shout out to Graham fam for dropping theirs first and getting out there, getting the momentum rolling. Hopefully we can do the same and keep the momentum rolling. Hopefully next year, every team will do a video drop. That would be super cool. Just to see the different perspectives from everybody. And listen, the last thing before we go. What's up, Hoop Jargon? What's going on, man? Last thing before we go. Listen, we need to get rid of that slogan. Fill in the gap, fill the gap, take a nap. It doesn't matter. Get rid of it. It's horrible. I hate it. It's horrible. I don't like it. We need to have a complete different slogan. All right. We need a different slogan. Okay. We need a slogan that when you hear it, you know it's PV. We need something that you know, like as soon as you hear it, it's PV. We don't need something that's generic. We don't need something that any team could use. We don't need something that another school could use in 1 year when we're not using it. We need something that nobody else can use because as soon as you hear it, it shouts PV. It shouts Prairie View. You know what I'm saying? That's what we need. We need something. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, listen, I love, right? Nobody else can use that slogan. That's all Jackson. Guard the yard. That's all Jackson. It speaks to them. It speaks to the culture, right? Nobody else can come use that because, like, you understand, like that's connected with the culture with Jackson, etc. Swarm as one. Alabama State, they can use that. That's across the board. It's universal. They can use it on everything. Basketball, football, baseball, soccer, track. It doesn't matter because we swarm as one, right? It's connected. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing that we need, right? You know what I'm saying? So we gotta figure out what is that thing for PV, for Prairie View, right? We gotta figure out what's that for Prairie View. Yeah, but listen, the thing is you gotta build the culture. You gotta build it. You gotta build it up to that. That's the reality. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if people aren't showing up, we can't just expect for people to show up if they aren't showing up. We gotta tap in and figure out, okay, what can we do that will change this culture, that will change the environment to make individuals want to be there, to make them want to tap in at the basketball games, to make them want to tap in at the softball and the baseball games, to make them want to be at all the football games. That's what we got to figure out. But if we just keep it as business as usual, then why would it change anything? You know what I'm saying? Said again. Okay, he said you GMC in his prime, DJ Mr. Rogers. We already had that. People stopped coming. Yeah, people dropped off. But the question is, why did they drop off? Right? Yeah, I mean, I believe we both were there when GMC was popping off. Right? You know what I'm saying? And listen, we were there with Blackshear. Like people was coming to the games with old Blackshear. People were coming to the basketball games. Like people were coming to the basketball games, right? Like it seemed like it's been a tremendous drop off that is uncanny. You know what I'm saying? With all of the facilities, all the space we got now, something's off, right? But we just got to figure out and tap in and figure out how to change it. You know what I'm saying? And how to make it different. Because the reality is, I mean, TSU, right? They dealing with the same thing. Now their basketball games are a lot hyper, right? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure. It was like an up and down. But the one thing for sure, my thing is we're living in 2024, right? So if we for example, if we talk about Jackson showing up, but Jackson is always promoting. Jackson is always talking. That's what they gonna do. They always talking, they always promoting, they always pushing. So it never stops, right? That momentum just keeps going and rolling from one year to another, right? One narrative to another. Outside of the year when we got, you know what I'm saying? Outside of we got this new stadium, I mean, how many years have we even have an actual season ticket campaign? But how many times we haven't had a season ticket campaign? You know what I'm saying? And I can't even say the younger generation because, yeah, the younger generation not there, but the alumni not there either. So I can't just put it on the younger generation. It's on the younger generation and it's also on the alumni too as well. Like both of them not showing up. Both of them not there. But my thing is like, do you just keep going business as usual? Like, what have we done different with the students to tap into the students on campus? What have we done different? We ain't done nothing different. We just doing the same things over and over again. Like we in 2024 where people got a million things they can do. Like they got a million things they can do even on this right here. You know what I'm saying? They got a million things to do even on their phone. So if we don't stay top of mind, then yeah, of course, they're going to go do whatever they was doing before. So we got to figure out how do we tap in with them, right? Like we got to figure out like what can we do as an administration? What can we do as a fan base to make it to where these events are like must-see events, must go to. That's all I'm saying, right? That's my thing, you know what I mean? said everybody got excuses. Well, I don't know. That doesn't mean they don't want to go. That means they feel like whatever they gonna get is not as good as them being at home, or them doing something else in Houston, or something else in Dallas, or wherever they may be, right? But again, my thing is, this is what I'm saying. How many times have we received any type of survey even? Yes, definitely. I agree. But how many times we receive any type of survey? How many emails have you gotten about the games? How many ads have you seen from PV? I mean, how many billboards is up? Like, if you ain't doing nothing, how can you expect results? That's all I'm saying. It's like it's like trying to build a business, but you don't market though. You don't put no money into marketing, no money into acquiring a customer. No money. All you do is set up at the flea market. You're setting up at the flea market every weekend. And the same flea market. The same flea market. Hey, the link is up in the description of the video. It's pinned up at the top. And if you can't come on today, you know what I'm saying? You can come on another day, right? You know what I'm saying? You can come on next week. You know what I'm saying? We can get you on. We can discuss this. But all I'm saying is, if you slid up at the flea market every week and that's all you do, you don't do anything else, how do you expect to build a business? How you expect to build a business? That's what you do every day, day in, day out. Your customer's not even there. Like, what you selling, them people not even buying at the flea market. You feel me? But that's what they selling. You feel me? What's going on? My man, Hoop Jargon, how you doing?
Man, doing well, man.
Yeah, man. Share your perspective, share your thoughts.
Yeah, man, I like what you're doing because this is a start, man. Like getting people just right, wrong, and different, just talking about Prairie View. This is the biggest part. Like, because everybody talk about doing it, but nobody go and just put on for PV. So that part of your perspective, I really do respect. And that's why I've kind of taken to your channel, observing and seeing the interviews. Because in my opinion, our biggest problem is we do a whole bunch of talking. We don't do a whole bunch of action. And I say that because I cover SWAC content on my channel. And you know what everybody says about Prairie View? You want to take a stab at it?
They don't show up.
They don't show up. They don't support their team. Same old PV. That's what everybody says about us. You know what I mean? So I hate to admit it because just to kind of get my credentials, I played basketball from 05 to 07. I coached at Prairie View from 08 to 2011. So I've seen, the waves of non-support, great support, so on and so forth. My grandmother went to Prairie View, my mother and my aunties and my cousins and myself, you know what I'm saying? And my little sister, we all went to Prairie View. So, I got a decent perspective on it. And I just, it's almost like we can't overcomplicate it. I think it's almost like we think that we got to be on the level of making slogans and all this stuff. And that's cool. I mean, because that gets people hyped up. But we just literally just got to show up. Like, we literally just have to show up. And we don't have that culture of showing up by hook or by crook. And I've seen it again over the lineage of about 15 years. And I know it's been going on beyond then because when my mom, I remember her taking me to Prairie View events. And it's just like, well, Labor Day Classic, for example. Texas Southern used to outperform us like crazy as far as attendance and all that stuff. So, and this is when I had no interest at all going to Prairie View because I thought, well, to give you more background, I went to Stephen F. Austin my first year, JUCO, and then I finished at Prairie View. And I wish I went to Prairie View all 4 years because it just was, the best experience ever. But,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? I just think that if we just put more attention into just, I'm going to commit to 2 games a year, no matter who we playing, and go the same way we do homecoming. Because homecoming, hell and high water, you're going to be on the yard, right? So I think if we just put that fervor to like get our booties on the yard and we'll work the stuff out, it'll get better past that point. And I'll yield the floor.
No, I mean, I get that point, right? You know what I'm saying? My only thing is if you've been like if we've been in this for so long, you know, it just makes me think about somebody, you walk in somebody's house and like they stuff is everywhere, and it's like, bro, you don't realize that you living in like a pigsty, like, but they've been living in there so long, they've comfortable with it now. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they got used to it. This is just what it is, right? We go to homecoming. We may go to TSU basketball game at TSU in Houston because I ain't got to drive all the way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's all that I do when it comes to connecting with PV, right? I would even say, right, really, we don't have a fan base, right? When you talk about a huge alumni fan base, we don't have fans. You know what I'm saying? We have graduates, right? You know what I'm saying? Because that's what graduates do. Graduates go to homecoming. You feel me? So my thing is that's our condition. And if we're going to get out of that condition, my perspective is just, if we're going to get out of the condition, that means I can't just expect for people who've been doing the same thing for 30 years to now get up and do something different, because this is what they built. You know what I'm saying? They built the mindset, right? They built habits that are really that they stuck in now. So the only way that we can get them out is by some way, somehow tapping into their mentality, tapping into their understanding, and understanding what will cause them to see this coming to a game, right? Getting up and coming to be more valuable than what they've been doing so far, right? You know what I'm saying?
Can I add this too, brother?
Yeah, go ahead.
Two things. And I feel your perspective. Now, what year did you finish?
I was the same year as you, 05 to 09.
Okay, so I finished 07 undergrad. I finished my graduate in 11. So, okay. So I just turned 40 to kind of give you perspective of my era. Well, and what you're saying is not incorrect. But I would say if anybody has concerns, questions, who wants to tap into someone who can actually put, rubber to road. She's a little older than me, but Miss Phyllis Darden, she's really big on like alumni affairs and getting people to come back and back Coach Bubba and back the athletic program and this, that, and the third. So if you guys want to tap into someone, she's on Facebook, she's everywhere. Miss Phyllis Darden. Me and her have had many conversations about this same topic. And she actually is on the road, putting rubber to the road to do this. Now I currently live in Los Angeles, so my touch can only go so far. I'm from Houston, but you know what I'm saying, I try my best because I care about Prairie View. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I do want to impart that, upon the whole thing. But what I will say as well is, I just remember when we had this big swell when DJ Rogers used to do the games, every game, and it just was like crazy. And then DJ Chose took it over a little bit. And then the Gold Members Club started coming in. Shout out to Trent J.
Yeah.
And all he did for that is just once he graduated, the apathy came back through. And not only that, so what I do on my channel sometimes is I show SWAC football games. And you don't have to travel nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
All I know is when Jackson State play, everybody show up on that free stream and watch Jackson State, and they'll tip me or whatever. And they don't have to. I always say you don't have to, but they're very participatory. Let me put it that way. When I do my Prairie View games, all you got to do is put a free YouTube link. So, I think what it's showing is we have that same apathy towards various sectors of supporting our program. And I think we're better than that, man. We just better than that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I definitely think we can be better than that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna definitely tap in with Miss Phyllis for sure. You know what I mean, and connect with her as well, because like you say, I think a part of it, one, is just having the conversation. Like it gotta start there. And I think there may be, because for me, even the reason I started this channel, right? I started this channel really because I was looking for this channel. You know what I'm saying? Like I was looking for stuff on PV, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we just saw is on, like, we got the 1400 club for Jackson. You know what I'm saying? So if I want to find anything about going to Jackson, I can tap in there. You know what I'm saying? If you want to, find about Alabama State, I can tap in with the wild card, right? Like you got places for these other schools, right? You know what I'm saying? ONG podcast, all this other stuff. But I'm like, man, what is that for us, right? When I'm trying to find out what's going on, and really was nothing there. So I'm like, man, there may have been, I'm sure there are other people who just like me, who really, if there was something, I would tap into it and I would like, you know what I'm saying, want to get connected with it. And, you know, now I ain't gonna lie, I was even surprised at the amount of people that started tapping into it, because I was like, you know, I probably, maybe I thought it was going to be a smaller, you know, segment than even what I'm finding out it is, right? But the more I feel like we do this and being intentional is the more I feel like we can grow it. Because if our fan base isn't there, we got, because I always look at Nebraska women's volleyball, right? You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you're familiar with them, right? But obviously they have huge, you know, program. But the coach was very intentional about saying, hey, he wanted to make Nebraska women's volleyball a program where, just like the football team is a, you know what I'm saying, is a squad that actually brings in revenue, right? And is a revenue generating sport. He wanted to do the same thing with the volleyball team, right? And if you read the story about how he started to go grassroots, right? Start to build connections through the schools, through the ISDs, right? Locally, right? Put on camps, all this other stuff, to where they selling out. I mean, they've had sellouts for their home games for like years now. It's talking about 8,000 plus at a women's volleyball game, right? You know what I'm saying? You talk about them selling out their Nebraska stadium for a game that they put on, I think it was last year, right? You know, you talking about like 90,000 people. It's crazy. You see what I'm saying? Women's volleyball game. Yeah. That didn't happen overnight, right? You can't. They didn't have 8,000 people who were interested in saying, I'm gonna show up every game just from day one, right? But he was intentional in figuring out, how do we build this culture to where volleyball is just in people's heart just as much as the football team. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna show up for that just like they show up for this. And I feel like, go ahead.
Okay, and I like that example. Let me part this caveat. Can we make room for the fact that he just kind of poached off that football crowd that already is there, who already show up?
He could have, right? You know what I'm saying? So there's gonna be different obstacles, right? For sure. I would say that. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be smooth. I think the one thing that I'm taking from his example is, the first thing is, he was intentional about seeking to build the fan base, right? He to me, a lot of times it's like we just sit back and we do the same thing. That's what they say. They call you crazy, you're insane, right? When you do the same thing but expect different results, right? To me, that's kind of like the box we in, is we expecting people to come because, yeah, the football team is better. I mean, Coach Smith has been killing it, right? The softball team been killing. Like, our sports are comparable. Like, the problem is not the on the field product at all, right? It's not on the court, it's not on the field, right? We go through lows in sports, of course, right? But majority, really across the board, all the teams, I think, probably except maybe baseball, has won championships. You see what I'm saying? So it ain't the teams on the field then. You see what I'm saying? It got to be something else. So, but my thing is us being intentional to start saying, okay, let's tap into how we can systematically build a fan base year in and year out, right? Again, I'm not in the inner workings of the department, right? So I don't know, right? But for example, if we know, hey, we sold 500 season tickets last year, how do we now sell 1,000 this year, right? And putting together plans saying, over the course of this 5 years, we're going to be working to build up to where when season tickets drop, right, in that first week, we looking to be able to easily sell 1,000 tickets. It's just automatic, because we built this over time and we continue to build it up, right? Same thing with basketball, same thing with other sports, right? Especially some of the other sports, because you don't even need, you have a couple hundred people and you have a home field advantage that a lot of people in the SWAC would hate coming here, right? With some of the other sports, right? Basketball, football, you're looking at bigger crowds. But so that's what I'm saying, is we just need to get intentional, right? So when we talk about marketing, I mean, if we look at it from a business perspective, there's a reason that businesses start to put out information early. They build the momentum for their drop. So they don't even just release season tickets, for example. They're going to build momentum toward the drop of the season tickets. It's something in psychology, it's something with us as human nature, right? That we want to feel that way, right? You know what I'm saying? We want to feel that inclusiveness, right? You know what I'm saying? And that even the exclusivity and stuff, right? So we talk about, hey, certain sections and things like this. So I just feel like we got to do a better job of actually like tapping into. And the last thing for me, right, I would say is I'm from the Grambling area, right? Me and my dad went to Grambling games all the time. My dad did not graduate from Grambling.
Yeah.
He was just a guy who was in the community, but Grambling had inserted themselves so much in Northeast Louisiana to where regular people went to the games, right?
Absolutely.
So I always look at it as three things, right? You got your student base, you got to figure out how to tap into them. You got your alumni, but then you got community, right? I have no idea what we've ever did to tap into the community, and the community is now building around us in the first place, right? So it's great. We're in a good position. But what are we doing to turn people who maybe Texas A&M is their primary school, right? That they went there, et cetera, et cetera. But I know multiple people who are multiple fans of multiple schools, right? Why can't Prairie View be one of their schools too? Like I'm a fan of PV. Like when I don't go to Texas A&M games, I drive 15 minutes to go to a Prairie View game on that Saturday.
Okay. I like that, and you basically touched on what I think our core problem is our culture. Our culture is up and down. Like sometimes Prairie View can be really good, man. When the basketball team won in 2003, every game packed, every game just rocking, like wanted to support PV. And then when I came through, when I played, it kind of tapered off. You know what I mean? It wasn't like that. And then again, after I started coaching, the Rogers area, it ramped back up, and then the Gold Members Club had it. Now they had it down. They mimicked Texas A&M's thing about how to cheer. Like you could come to a Prairie View game, it's not a fashion show. You come there to cheer your team on.
Right.
Because having been to every gym and football field in the SWAC many times over in my lifespan, Prairie View has this kind of pretentious culture, in my opinion. Like you want to go there and look good, but you ain't gonna go there and just go all out for the team.
I agree.
I ain't gonna be the one like looking all lame. You know what I'm saying?
That's facts. That is definitely facts.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're at the theater.
Right. Golf clapping. So if we gotta find a way to tap in, because I gotta say again, I'm 40 years old. I see a lot of alum who are very proud of Prairie View. They go out and always putting on for Prairie View, always got gear on. Shout out to my guy, my frat brother, Jay Fondo. He has a spot called Prospect 249, a Park Place 249. He just made it. And a part of his motif in there is like the tailgate heroes, which is a big staple in Prairie View tailgating and things of that nature. So everybody who comes in going to get absorbed the Prairie View culture coming to his bar that he owns. So those kind of things have to happen. And like, the thing to do is to go to Prairie View and go just spaz out. Go out there and just have a great time, because that's the difference I see. I see Grambling fans, they got their little chant that G, like it just gets you going. Like it just does. And so to your point with you and your pops, he saw that culture and he's like, yeah, I want to be a part of this. I ain't go to school, but I like this. Now you can say because Prairie View got mostly older people around it, and maybe not the younger, just your natural base. Like Ruston is a little different than Prairie View, Texas. But still, Cypress is steadily coming our way. Right. That little Katy pocket is steadily coming our way. To your point, we probably should tap into that area a little more because they can naturally come that way. And from a regional standpoint, it's a little closer. But the people who gotta do the legwork is me and you, bro. We gotta go there and just like, it's cool to come fan out for Prairie View. It ain't cool to just go post up, with your new kicks on and just act like you don't care you're there. And I think once we absorb that and just grab it and hold on to it, I think we'll yield better results. Because I think that can the department do a better job? Absolutely. But we're the same department that had, Charles McClellan. We're the same department that had Ashley Robinson, who everybody loves now. Everybody loves Ashley. We had Ashley, right? So with all that being said, we had that and we fumbled the bag many times over. Mm-hmm. So what's going to be the consistency? And I think it's just going to be us, the fans, because we're here. We know Prairie View exists. It's just we don't want to turn on TV and watch us, and we don't want to go to the game and watch us. So it's like, come on, man.
Yeah, listen, I'm with you. And we came from Monroe, right? So that's like the 30-minute drive. So in my mind, I'm always thinking all the way down Cypress, right? You got Cypress, Fairbanks, ISD, you got Tomball, you got Katy, right? So then obviously you got Hempstead, et cetera, right? So within this little range, you really got enough people to deal with. You ain't got to go into Houston. You see what I'm saying? Like you can just stay in these areas and make it work. And I agree with you. I think everything, and a lot of my background is doing stuff starting grassroots at the end of the day, right? And I guess that's probably why I just kicked in the gear and just started this thing up, right? Because at the end of the day, you just have to have people to do it, right? If even when I talked to a couple guys, right? Isaiah's one of those guys, right? We talk about, selling out Section 107. I mean, that's us talking, right? That's us as fans. That's not us as the university saying this, right? Now, when it's all right, it's gonna be the university and the students and the alum and the community. When those four, you know what I'm saying, it's like, it's like Thanos. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? With the Infinity Stone. Like when all those come together, that's when it's gonna really be crazy, right?
That's real.
But you can start and you can build momentum. So that's why on one end, like you say, we talk about it and we say, hey, we could do this better. But on the other end, it's just like, hey, but you need to choose a game to go to with your group, right? You know what I'm saying? With your 4 or 5 friends, y'all go to one game. Y'all go to one softball game, right? That's building momentum. That's already starting, right? So it's like we need to do both sides, right? Like you say, not just talk, but also do. And that's hopefully what we're able to do more of, right, as we continue to build, right? This National Signing Day, right? Like, hey, listen, I don't work for the athletic department. Isaiah don't work for the athletic department, nobody else. But like, hey, we fans. So we be promoting and we saying, hey, let's show up. I've heard, you know what I'm saying, 2 years ago, it was only a handful of people. So, okay, cool. Well, listen, I'm going to push it too. You feel me? Hopefully with them pushing and we pushing and they push it, we got 100 people there. You feel me? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You feel me? So it's like, you right. We got to do our part too to build it. You know what I'm saying? And keep going from there. And I think, like you say, I'm thinking about it like building momentum, right? Like as we keep snowballing this thing down and people, one thing I know and I feel like, at least with our generation, is we need to see something. We need to see results, right? When we see it, we'll jump on board. And I feel like a lot of people like that. They not going to tap in until they see some people tapping in. And then they say, you know what? Man, the basketball game looked like it was crunk this last game. It was on fire. People don't say crunk no more. You feel me? But like it was fire, right? You know what I'm saying? It was lit. You see what I'm saying? It was lit this last game. Then they're gonna say, like, oh, I'm gonna tap in next time, right? So but people gotta see sometimes what you want them to see. And that, like I say, that's why, hey, we try to do what we can do. And if we can combine that with what the letter department does, and I know AD Golf is just getting in there, right? So he's seeing a lot of stuff new. You know what I'm saying? I know he's gonna be coming with his own flavor, different things, right? With what the Alumni Association, with the community. We all together, if we work together, I feel like we can change this thing. But I do think we got to be intentional. You know what I'm saying? About what do we do, right? Like not just saying, hey, go. Maybe we say this one game, we're gonna put all our effort and energy on selling out this one game outside of TSU. Because if we can do that, then we can start maximizing. Okay, now we're gonna focus on just this one game. We're not even gonna try to do every game because maybe we can't do that right now. But we can do this, So yeah.
No, that's how it is, man. Action begets action, man. And we Prairie View got that who all gonna be there mentality. The old adage. You come to the party, who all gonna be there? That's Prairie View out to a T. But just as small as your channel, man, like you doing this, because I ain't know you from a hill of beans, but I saw PV versus everything pop up. I was like, what's that? I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Because I'm down, like, because I be on these streams trying to campaign hard for Prairie View. There's just nobodies. There's nobodies out there with me.
You feel me? Trying, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the way I felt too. And I'm like, bro, I hate, first of all, I hate watching an hour-long stream and then y'all gonna talk about us for 5 minutes. Come on, man. Like, right. I'm here. This is what I was here for. So I felt the way, you know what I'm saying? So like I say, but I knew there had to be other people like me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, right now we like at 2 something, but I'm like, man, there could be 1,000 more people who like this. And now we can get together and say, hey, we about to go to this game. And we get these 800, 1,000 people to go. That changes so much. You see what I'm saying? Absolutely. So yeah, it's building momentum, man. But
it is. Yeah, man. I'll let you keep doing your show, man. I'm at the J, but I saw you speaking, and I definitely wanted to hop on and kind of just impart, I guess my perspective, because I've been in a lot of SWAC circles, man. I know you're part of Roughing the SWAC, and the precursor before that was the SWAC page was, a thing back in the early mid 2000s. And so I've seen these rooms, and it's just the disconnect was like the old heads with the younger generation of breaching everything together and just participating and showing up and buying your season tickets and just want to be there and sit there and cheer your team on. because once you graduate, it become not so cool to come back to the yard and do the same thing. So I think that there's a lot to fix, but I think, us just talking about it, like you said, being intentional, that's going to be the biggest thing to get this wheel moving, man. So I appreciate what you're doing. And I just, again, I had to tap in, man.
Nah, hey, I appreciate you for your perspective and jumping on too, man. So everybody, man, y'all tap in with Hoop Jargon too, man. Got some dope content over on his page too. I've been subscribed to you for a minute, actually. You know what I'm saying? So
Appreciate it.
yeah. So appreciate you for jumping on, man, and share your perspective. Hey, listen, anytime you want to jump back, man. Hey, man, listen, if anybody got that hoop knowledge, is you too. So if you want to jump on, man, and share your perspective in the future, man, just let me know.
I got you, man. For those listening, I played ball overseas at the Prairie View, Germany, Switzerland, Portugal. I've seen the world. Prairie View got me where I gotten. And I always talk about Prairie View everywhere I go. Again, I live in LA. I got Prairie View plate still. I'm probably telling myself a little bit, but I got my Prairie View gear I wear. They're like, what's that school? I always talk about Prairie View. And every now and then I run into alumni out here on the West Coast. So I'm definitely about that. So yeah, man, maybe on IG or something, you can tap in Hoop Jargon. And then we can work to try to just, build something, man. I'm definitely down, bro.
Yeah, that's dope, man. I'll definitely look you up. We'll connect.
Perfect. All right, man. Have a good one.
All right, man. Holla.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so appreciate him for jumping in, stepping in and sharing his perspective, man. Hey, listen, again, if anybody else, I got to go tonight. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? But listen, in the future, man, we're going to drop this StreamYard link more often. So anybody interested, want to jump on, man, y'all can come on and share our perspective as well. Because listen, we're trying to build a community here, right? You know what I'm saying? It's not just about me. You feel me? It's not just about Hoop Jargon, right? It's about all of us, right? You know what I'm saying? We're seeking to build that connection. You feel me? That 12, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? The 12 fans, you feel me? You know what I mean? Changing that perspective. And continue to build, right? So I think we got something special going and building and brewing. We just got to keep at it, right? And keep that momentum going. So like Elvin said, yeah, man, we've been waiting for something like this. So now we got it. Now let's continue to build, right? Let's continue to get there. So again, like we talk about, hey, tap in, right? We're going to see y'all on February 7th. And like Isaiah reminded us, right? We ain't the side piece, not the side dish. We the main course. We'll see y'all later.